reported yesterday that the new Lakers ownership, led by Mark Walter, had fired Joey and Jesse Buss along with much of their scouting department. Now, Joey and Jesse Buss have had the keys to the Lakers scouting roles for the past decade, helping find players like Austin Reeves, Alex Caruso, Kyle Kuzma, and Jordan Clarkson as well. So joining us is our senior reporter with the Lakers, Dave McMenamin. Dave, are we watching the Lakers? It feels like this is an episode of Succession. Are we watching this happen in real time?
Yeah, Malika, that is a apt comparison. And, I spoke to both Jesse and Joey yesterday, and this wasn't necessarily a surprise that this came. Obviously, the writing's been on the wall since the majority stake in the franchise was sold to Mark Walter's group in June. However, that didn't end up cutting the disappointment whatsoever. This was a devastating day for both of them to come to the realization that they won't be able to hand over their stake in the team to their children, which they always grew up thinking that was their father's goal, for the Buss family business to be the Los Angeles Lakers in perpetuity. Now, I'll say that Joey and Jesse got ahead of this. They launched Buss Sports Capital last month. They've already set up meetings both domestically and abroad with major pro sports franchises, including a franchise in the Major League Baseball League. And so certainly they are trying to set themselves up and not be completely reeling from this news. At the same time, it tears at their heartstrings.
It seems like also a strange time when you're looking at turning over scouting departments, because right now is prime scouting season for NBA's teams to be looking at the college ranks and internationally. So it's certainly going to be interesting to see how the Lakers move forward from this as well. Let's talk about this current team, though. Of course, LeBron James, he made his season debut against the Jazz on Tuesday. That's where I lost my voice. And now that that's out of the way, Dave, how is it looking for the 40-year-old about to turn 41 to get to game number 2 and beyond?
Yeah, Malik, I spoke to a source close to LeBron today, and he told me that LeBron's usually measured about these things, but he reported that LeBron felt, quote, great coming off that season debut against the Jazz. Now, the schedule has helped out. The team had off on Wednesday, and they had a practice Thursday. They'll get 2 more days to get ready before they play their next game on the road Sunday in Utah. The big question moving forward is not just can LeBron stay healthy and not have the sciatic creep back in. And obviously LeBron is going through exercises and mobility drills in order to try to stave that off. But can he get his wind back at the same time, keep his body in the best shape in order to make it to the finish line? And LeBron can only miss 3 more games between now and the end of the regular season to be eligible for for the awards, including All-NBA. He's been an All-NBA player the last 21 years straight. The source I spoke to today said, hey, at 41 years old, I'd rather LeBron skip back-to-backs, but we'll see how that aligns with his plans to maybe be eligible for All-NBA once again.
You have to know that he has those numbers in his mind. Dave, thank you so very much. As always, a ton going on here with the Los Angeles Lakers, including that power struggle in L.A. Let's go from the power struggle to the Tower of Power with start season in perspective, a stat that you have to see to believe. And what went into the decision to let 2 members of the Buss family go? A live report on the fallout and aftermath for the Lakers organization. Plus, day 4 of the NBA Cup. Tonight's slate is ridiculous, and we lay out the standings, the schedule, and everything else you need to know ahead of the action. NBA Today starts right now.
Things look good in Houston right now.
Kevin Durant is cold.
Jokic is doing stuff. It's wild, man.
Oh, Joker's wild.
After Şengün, we call him Baby Jokic for a reason.
That's incredible stuff from Alfred Şengün.
Jamal Murray with some magic.
That makes us feel confident every time we step out on that floor.
We're just hopefully going to continue to play like that.
The biggest game on the docket tonight is the Rockets at the Nuggets, led by 3-time MVP Nikola Jokic. There is an argument to be made that he's having the best season yet. He's leading the league in rebounding and assists. As for Houston, they brought in Kevin Durant this offseason, and that has paid off big time. The Rockets have the most efficient offense in the NBA, and Durant's scoring has helped fuel the 3 seed out west. And while both Denver and Houston, they're chasing the Thunder, we all know that in the standings, it's those 3 that have the shortest odds to win the West, according to ESPN Bet. So here now with our do-it-all analyst, Shanae Ogumake, Danny Green, who's kind of dressed like the Joker today, our senior insider, Shams.
I just have to say, I think, Shanae, you made a great decision today wearing all black. I think you look really good in all black.
I think you look perfect,
Sean. I mean, all business right here. And, of course, our Brian Windhorst looking dapper as always. This is good, guys. It's great when we have 2 great teams playing each other. And then you get added stakes with it being an NBA Cup game. Brian, I'm having a hard time deciphering here, just like I'm still having a hard time talking. The Rockets and the Nuggets, what's been most impressive to you so far this year? Where do you want to go?
Well, the league right now, we know it's a copycat league, and everybody's playing fast and hoisting threes. And the Rockets are like a pickup truck in the middle of a race of a bunch of sports cars, okay? Because they're like, we don't have to play fast. We're going to play slow. We're not going to shoot 3-pointers. We're going to get offensive rebounds. It is so amazing that in an era defined by fast-paced offense, that a team that doesn't shoot threes and doesn't go fast is better than everybody else. Now, they are making their threes. The ones that they're shooting, they're making, and that's helping it. But they are playing against the grain, and I, for one, love it. I love the way the Rockets are leaning into their personnel, leaning into the way Ime Udoka wants to coach. And look, the Nuggets are one of the teams that is doing great on offense. They've got a top offense led by Nikola Jokic, who's having historically great season, but I have to admire the team that's going its own way and having a lot of success. That is fueling the Rockets' start.
I got to tell you, as you were talking, Brian, Shanae's just sitting up straighter and straighter over the course of that conversation. But it's worth it. It's worthy of this conversation, right? The Rockets, they're red hot. They've won 10 of their last 11 games. What is the organization saying, Shams? Is this what they envisioned?
Malika, yes, in a way, but this is a team that's super injury. You know, they're dealing with a lot of injuries right now. You look at Oklahoma City, they're in a class of their own. Denver is established, and they're deep right now. And they've got so many players that they feel like they can count on after the offseason. The Rockets internally believe they're figuring it out on the fly. Alperen Sengun's having a really special start to the year. Kevin Durant is figuring it out as the season is going on. He's putting up his Kevin Durant-type numbers. But Amen Thompson and Reed Sheppard are taking on consistent roles that they've never had at the NBA level. Amen Thompson is playing point guard consistently, which he's never done. He's a triple-double threat on any given night. Reed Sheppard is coming on strong the last couple of weeks. But this is a team that's injuries-ravaged right now. Fred VanVleet potentially out for the season.
Right.
We'll see. And then Dorian Finney-Smith, Tari Eason still out for several more weeks still. So we haven't seen Dorian Finney-Smith with this team yet.
But good news for us basketball fans watching this game tonight. We do see here that Aaron Gordon is probable to play in this game.
Nice.
The big man battle, right? That's going to be something that we all have our eyes on. And what do we call Alperen Sengun around these parts?
Baby Jokic.
We call him Baby Jokic. Well, Big Jokic or Nikola Jokic, however you want to refer to him, was asked about those comparisons ahead of their matchup.
I think he's talented. I think people connect him with him, but I think we are a different type of player. He's an amazing player. You can see some similarities, but I think I don't want people to see him and tell me he's like something like me. I think he's a good enough player that he's good enough player to have his own story.
Well, wise and complimentary words there from Nikola Jokic. What are you watching in this big man battle, Danny?
I mean, in a league where it's three-point oriented and perimeter oriented, they're saying the big man is becoming non-existent. But these guys are bringing it back. Obviously, Joel Embiid's been out and hurt. But if you look at the post-ups throughout most other teams, they don't post up anymore. But these guys are making teams have another big to be able to guard the post-up. As you can see, they're still scoring. They're top in the league. Two top, obviously, Jokic is kind of doubling Sengun there. But they're top in the league in post-ups because they have unstoppable moves like these. As you see, Sengun, and they're also unbelievable passers. He gets the ball, takes his time, looks around, sees the defense, seeing who's going to help the double. Pretty much daring the defense to double.
Yeah.
And gets that sky hook, which is unstoppable. The reason why Kareem made it unstoppable. If you can perfect that, Jokic the same. Now, he may not take his time as much, but he's looking at the defense with every dribble, seeing who's going to double because he's so great at passing. It's a one-on-one, easy right-hand hook. unstoppable.
Yeah, you guys know I'm in my happy place now. These are two players that have international experience. They carry that over to the NBA, and they have really led their teams. And I'll focus actually on the triple-double aspect. Now, I know for Alfred Şengün, that is aspirational compared to Nikola Jokic, but look at this right here. Only two players in the NBA average 20, 10, and 7. And it's those two right there on the screen. 23, 10, and 7 for Alpi and Jokic. You guys, I can't even fathom what he's doing. Go ahead,
I think with the absence of Fred VanVleet has allowed Şengün to be their point guard. There's concerns and worries that they wouldn't be stable without point guard, but he's a playmaker. So him able to do that, and they're obviously developing Reed Shepherd, who's coming along, but he's able to be their kind of point forward, point center, and be able to be like Nikola Jokic.
And I still do believe that the Houston Rockets are ahead of schedule. Given the injury concerns, I was like, I don't know if they're going to make it to the top
I doubted them too.
of the West.
They proved me wrong.
You have the head and shoulders leaders of the NBA, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Then you've got the Nuggets and the Rockets. The thing that you need your team to be is win the games you're supposed to win. And they're doing exactly that. That's a step for growth for them.
Yeah, the Houston Rockets have been impressive to watch, particularly because, again, the three-point shot, that is not in the modern NBA. Usually when a team is near the bottom of the league and how many three-point shots they take, that is not a recipe for a number one offense. I don't know if that's going to be sustainable over the course of the entire season, but I do think they found something. I think they have found something here, and that's certainly, we're excited for that marquee matchup tonight. A story, though, that we will be following through the weekend. Portland Trailblazers coach Chauncey Billups, along with Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier and former Cleveland Cavaliers player and assistant coach Damon Jones. They were arrested, remember, in late October as a part of a pair of wide-ranging investigations related to illegal sports betting and rigged poker games backed by the mafia. Now, Jones had his arraignment on November the 6th. Billups is scheduled to have his this upcoming Monday. So we check in with Shams for more on Billups' arraignment as this date approaches. What are the details, Shams, that you're focused on as we head towards Monday?
So, Malika, a source told me that Chauncey Billups will be pleading not guilty to the illegal sports betting charges. So the FBI has two charges against Chauncey Billups. One is a count of wire fraud, another is money laundering. Each count carries no more than 20 years in prison. This is a routine arraignment where they're going to read you your charges. There's going to be a not guilty plea by Chauncey Billups. This will be a long, drawn-out process. I reported it in the moment when these first came about a month ago. This will go about 6 to 12 months at least.
All right, and over those 6 to 12 months, of course, we will continue to update you as the story develops here on NBA Today, but that arraignment date is set for Monday. Hey, coming up here on our show, Tyrese Maxey, my friends, he put on a show last night.
They're looking right at home. Second game back, but doing what they brought him in to do. Knock down shots, be a floor spacer. Guys falling asleep. Come on, Bobby Portis. You only got 2 3-pointers.
Wake up! He scored Philly's first 11 points in the first quarter. But the fourth quarter, that's when it was time to take it to the maxi time, that is. Starting here with a step back.
Come on.
Ball.
Dance. Dance. You know what I like to say, Dancing with the Stars. Tyrese Turbo Mode Maxey, and I love the joy that these two play with. This is the future best backcourt in the NBA with BJ and
Oh, I like that. BJ throwing it down here, and then Maxey catches it in the corner. Another three, Danny.
Talking crazy to the bench, too. Let him know, Tyrese.
Respectfully.
Yeah.
Bucks down by 1. Turner catches it, knocks down the 3.
Give him the antlers.
And then,
I like that.
No one
Give him
ever
the
done this
antlers.
celebration before. I love that. Maxey drives. Turner really thought that he had it with that one. That's why he gave us the antlers. But Maxey, stone cold, knocks down both free throws and sends the game to overtime.
Cold-blooded.
So the 76ers, they lead by 3 in OT. And then Maxey putting the finishing touches here on this 50-piece.
He's their number
With the
1,
left.
number 2, number 3, number 4
With the
option.
left.
Not 1, not 2,
Ooh, I
not
know you
3,
had that, young fella.
not 4. He had a couple layups with the left, too.
Yeah.
Tyrese Maxey is making a real leap, though, to begin the season. That's saying a lot because he was huge for them last year. He's put up numbers for the Sixers that rival their MVP winners, including Wilt, my friends. Through 15 games, he's averaging over 33 points a night. Only Allen Iverson has a higher average to start a season. So, Brian, what does the emergence of Maxey mean for the 76ers this season? Because a lot of us said, okay, this could be a lost year if Joel Embiid isn't a full go.
Yeah, we are seeing the birth of a superstar here. He is playing like a superstar, which has really enabled the Sixers to not think about Embiid on a night in, night out basis. The best compliment I can give him is that he won Most Improved Player 2 years ago, and I think he could win it again this year because he has taken his game to another level. He's really developed 3-level scoring close to the basket, with both hands. Danny was just mentioning with the left hand. He made 7 baskets with his left hand last night, including some floaters. The idea of being able to perfect a floater with your offhand. And I want to point out his three-point shooting. He's really had a couple of down years shooting the 3-ball. Well, his three-point percentage this year is up 9% year over year. You can just see the work he's put in on his game. Even though he's already been an all-star, even though he's already got a max contract, he's in the middle part of his career and elevating his game. That is enormous for the Sixers, who are in desperate need of his offensive ability.
Look, he's essentially become the face of the franchise in Philadelphia. And you think about giving them a chance to stay competitive and what that means in the Eastern Conference. I mean, it gives him a chance as well to be an all-NBA type player. I don't know if he's going to beat out Nikola Jokic and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and different, other guys for MVP, but getting MVP, that's the type of level that he's playing at, carrying this team night in and night out. And I just saw, him bump into Doc Rivers late in the game. I think his 50th point. And it just took me back. Doc Rivers actually asked Tyrese Maxey to go to the G League during the 2020-2021 season and start to get some reps. More in a way of like, he wasn't playing. He was on the sideline. Like, let's get him some reps. Tyrese Maxey actually made the decision with his agent to decline that. He felt it was better for him to learn with his teammates, get experience. And now we're seeing, as Brian said, the birth of a superstar, but a guy that can really give this Sixers organization a chance on a nightly basis.
We love people who we love a little bit of pettiness, just a little sprinkle of pettiness.
I mean, not a shocker considering you know who his agent is, Rich Paul. So turning that down was not a shocker to me. But I can go on and on about this kid because not only is he a great player, he's an even better kid.
You played with him.
I got a chance to play with Tyrese, and I knew from the moment that we had COVID during that time. I got a chance to shake it, but you could tell when he walked in the building, his stature, how he carried himself, his aura, that he was going to be special. At the time, he wasn't a great shooter. He shot like 30 from 3, but he was fast, he was explosive. I knew he could play. They tried to fill him in for Ben Simmons, which was crazy, and try to play that role. But now they're moving the offense around him. But to see how he's gotten better and better each year, and then he started out-shooting me.
Yeah.
We had a little debate one time, and he still gives me grief for it, but I told him at one point he was not a better player or couldn't shoot better than Kobe White. And every time I see him, he lets me know about it. And if that's all you needed to shoot a little bit better, young fella, you're welcome.
Oh, there we go.
I've never heard that story.
Yeah,
Kobe
exactly.
White?
He's like, oh, Danny Green says I'm not better than Kobe White. So Kobe's still a really good player.
Yeah.
And he was good at the time. And then Tyrese started out shooting me, and I'm like, what the hell got into you?
And clearly he took that personally. That's
did.
the best thing
He takes
for,
it personally every day.
For basketball fans. Tyrese Maxey wants all the smoke. He leads the NBA in minutes. He's over 33 a game. He's a guy, and I think you're talking about that shot. It's the combination. He came into the league. Everyone knew that speed, that athleticism, that explosion was off the charts. When you combine that with the fact that he's shooting around 10 threes a game at 42%, that combination makes him a lethal guy. He is truly, like you said, a superstar.
And what's more impressive to me is his floor game. And the 3 blocks and 3 steals, him adding that to his game, like he's doing it all for this team. So he deserves his flowers.
Yeah, the best compliment I can give him is one I'm going to borrow from Zach Lowe. This team is looking as good without Joel Embiid. They have an identity as they do with him. All right, let's talk about the Magic. 4 of their last 5, hosting the Clippers in Orlando. Well, that's probably a recipe for a W. All right, Wagner brings it up.
I heard you say
Spins off the defender.
Oh, man, between the legs. Pardon of the literal Red Seas up there.
Good fundamentals, too, taking that extra step.
Jump into the second here. Jalen Suggs throws it alley-oop to Anthony Black.
He's got a couple of dunks in the last week or so. I didn't know he'd get up like that.
Great execution on that alley-oop, too.
Got to pay attention.
Magic up 9 here. Corrals. Finds Suggs.
Good screen, Franz.
Yeah.
On the floor.
Rolling in this one. Is that 6'7"? I don't know what that is.
That's a good, it might have been 6'7", but check out this hustle, Malika. Dives on the floor, balls moving, unselfish. Yeah.
Slam. What a play there from Suggs on both ends. The Magic roll 129-101 in this one. Now, the Magic, they've taken some time to figure things out, especially to start the season on offense with the addition of Desmond Bane, getting him acclimated. But Orlando has started to gel, guys. They've won 5 of their last 6 games, and they're really finding an identity here. Now joining NBA Today, it's the Magic leading scorer, Franz Wagner. Franz, thank you so much for taking the time.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
We appreciate it. I need to know what's the secret sauce here, because your team has won 8 of the last 11 games. What have you guys found over the last 3 weeks?
Yeah, I think just after a rough start to the season, just kind of figuring out our flow on offense a little bit of our roles, obviously integrating some new pieces to the puzzle. So I think everybody kind of finding their rhythm, and then also I think it starts on defense for us. didn't start the season on that end the way we wanted it to. And like I said, I think the last 11 games were really good on the defensive side.
Yeah, certainly that defensive identity, it's bleeding into everything that you guys do, and that allows you maybe to have a little bit more fun. So I do want to talk a little bit more about what you all are doing on the floor. But first, I need an explanation here, my friend. We see this celebration. You know exactly where I'm going. That you have, it's a now viral clip with your brother Mo. What is happening here? Are we milking finger udders?
Yeah, I guess we're milking it now. I don't know when we came up with this, but just kind of fun, quick way to introduce yourself to the game and before the game. So just to have a quick funny moment with your brother and kind of keep it moving.
What an intro! Were we going to see this again? Clearly, people like it. Is it going to stick?
Oh, yeah, it's going to stick. We've been doing it.
I love this. I love it so much. I work with my little sister as well, so clearly we need to come with a creative handshake like you all have. All right, let's go back to basketball, but thank you for indulging me there. In late October, you allowed at least 135 points in consecutive games, and since then, this has been a top 5 team in defense. You talked about how important that end of the floor is here, but what has allowed you to get back to that defensive level?
Yeah, I think it's been our effort, our communication, and just everyone's commitment and attention to detail. I think our coaching staff, I think the organization, the way our team is built, that's where we want to hang our hat. And I think after those first couple games, obviously integrating some new guys as well, but just finding back to our identity. And I think a lot of the other stuff we do on the court feeds off of our defense. So I think that's why we're able to get a couple wins in the last 11.
And then more than a couple wins, right? And then offensively, pace is something that we talk about all the time, and you guys play with incredible pace. What's been the biggest adjustment for you all going faster on offense after ranking last in pace last season?
Yeah, I think that's actually, just looking at our team, we got a lot of guys that can do a lot of different stuff with the basketball and can make decisions. So I think that actually plays a little bit more to our strength and our ability. So I think it's a commitment to the effort. It's a little bit harder to do that over a whole season. So getting in shape, I think that was part of it, starting the season and just kind of getting used to that new pace. And also knowing when, realizing when teams do a good job of kind of loading up and getting back in transition, just take the pace out of it then and still move quickly on offense, but maybe not shoot in the first couple seconds of the offense.
Well, Franz, we really appreciate the time. We wish.
Presented by PlayStation 5.
It is the penultimate night of group play for the NBA Cup, so let's take a look back at the best from Week 3. It's our NBA Today Big 3. All right, at number 3, the Bucks and the Hornets. Trey Mann, and to quote Ian Eagle, that's a man's jam.
Watch out.
Oh, man.
Miles Turner, oh, man.
Rises up for the poster.
Didn't see that coming.
Danny, has anyone ever told you have like a low-key Kawhi laugh?
Yes.
Just like
that.
you heard that?
I've heard that.
See, now at number 2.
Not that bad.
From last Friday, the Trailblazers and the Rockets. Shaden Sharp, we know he's a high flyer.
He's a staple here.
That is an absolute rim rocker.
Unbelievable athlete.
Oh my goodness!
I like the courts. Come on,
that is very red. That is a very red court.
Cardinal red, Rockets red. All my favorites.
All right, at number 1, how about Victor Wembanyama? We can't wait to see him back on the floor soon. This is the Spurs and the Warriors Friday night. Wemby with the alley-oop here to himself.
You saw Steph down there. It's like he has no chance.
Between that and the inbounds play on Draymond Green.
You know what's sad?
Yeah.
That looks so easy.
Should have counted.
Yeah,
Didn't count it.
So hard.
Just for the pettiness alone. All right, let's talk about the Warriors, though, because they're in the middle of a 5-way tie in Group C. Everyone's 1-1. But remember, they have the worst point differential. So they have some serious work to do heading into their 3rd Cup game here. And that gives added importance to tonight's game against the Blazers in the Bay. And that's where we find Anthony Slater. So, Slater, with Steph, Jimmy, Draymond sitting out their most recent loss against the Heat, what is the status of each of those guys heading into tonight's game?
Yeah, Steph Curry's cleared. He's in. Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green officially probable, but everything I'm hearing is they're going to play. And they're coming off, they've talked about it plenty. We've talked about it plenty. This, grueling part of the schedule. They played an NBA high 17 games, 5 back-to-backs, 12 of their 17 games on the road. but we all know that, there's a reward in the NBA for that, and they have a 5-game homestand. It's spaced out. Practices are coming up, and the stat Steve Kerr keeps mentioning is the turnovers. They're 8-0 when they win the turnover battle, 1-8 when they do not win the turnover battle, and he says, look, practices and rest at home, typically you're less fatigued, you're more focused, you don't turn the ball over as much.
Well, typically Steph Curry teams, they have been high turnover teams here, looking to control that. That has been the story of the Golden State Warriors for the last couple of years, and it certainly applies here. But it sounds like we're going to get the big three back for this Cup game. Slater, we're going to see you for more on the Warriors in just a little bit here. But for now, let's stick in the Western Conference of the NBA Cup. Anthony Edwards and the Wolves, they are in Phoenix, taking on the 9-6 Suns, who's found a little bit of an identity here. But it's been a roller coaster year for the Wolves, right? They've played great against down competition, but they've struggled against better teams. Minnesota is undefeated against teams with losing records, but they're winless against teams with winning records. And one thing that's been consistent for the Wolves this year is offense, right? They've scored at least 110 points in all 15 games so far. The only team with a longer streak to start the season is the 1961 Cincinnati Royals that were led by Oscar Robertson. So even with that offensive output, though, Anthony Edwards is in the middle of a little bit of a slump here, because look at his last 4 games. He's made just 3 of his last 33-point attempts. That is the 4th worst by any player with 30 or more attempts in a 4-game span. So, Queen Shanae, how exactly does Ant get the Wolves to take that next step?
If the Minnesota Timberwolves want to take it to the next, spacing there, no one is in the paint. It allows the most space for Anthony Edwards to cook. I want to freeze it right here because this is early offense, a drag screen. Okay, so here, Rudy Gobert reads that Anthony Edwards likes his matchup versus Max Christie. Instead of setting the screen, he slips away, and it gives him space to cook, to have the entire side of the floor. But this is where things get fun. I want you guys to see it from my eyes on the baseline. Ant is one of the most athletic guards in the NBA. He has great footwork. Instead of settling for a fadeaway, he has a beautiful counter move. I say this all the time. Good players have go-to moves. Great players have counter moves. He finishes at the rim, and this is where he adds his special sauce as a dog. He turns and he flexes on his opponent. You guys, if the Minnesota Timberwolves want to take that next step and get a statement win, it starts with the mid-post and not necessarily just the 3-point shot.
Great work there, VR Shanae. Now, 15 games in. Yeah, that was good. And the Wolves are smack dab in the middle of the playoff picture. 4.5 games behind the top seeded Thunder. 4.5 games ahead of the 10th.
To what you were saying earlier, the expectation for them now is so high, it's hard to live up to that.
Yeah.
And to me, I thought they were a good team, but I didn't think they were a Western Conference Finals team last year. They just had a really good matchup, and they played against a Steph Curry-less Golden State Warriors team, which allowed them to get to that Western Conference Finals. But looking at their roster, them losing out, Nickeil Alexander-Walker was a big hit. He is balling in Atlanta. Like, he had 36 tonight or 38. He's playing very well, and he was a big piece of what they did offensively and defensively with this group. You have to really build up Rob Dillingham or Terrence Shannon Jr. to fill that void, but they just don't have enough to me. With Anthony Edwards, he's a great scorer. So is Julius Randle. But I think they need a third consistent scorer, somebody that also can bring the defense. Jaden McDaniels is very good. He's taking his game to another level. But there's something they're missing that they need some help with.
And it's also the playmaking ability. Ant has taken on more of that point guard responsibility. And sometimes when your best player is doing that, it's hard to put yourself in positions because you're also the number one target. You're the number one on the scouting report. But by the numbers, when you look at this Timberwolves squad, they're doing all right.
Yeah.
Now, they need those statement wins. But if you look at the production that they're getting by player, it's pretty solid. So I think sort of trying to alleviate the pressure on Ant and getting him comfortable in that mid-post, getting him the most space, to me is the best way possible.
McDaniels, Randall, they've been tremendous for the Timberwolves this season, and hopefully they're going to get Jaden McDaniels in this game. He is questionable, and he didn't play on Wednesday. So carousel keeps turning. Shams, what more can you tell us about the New York Liberty's coaching vacancy, or actually not so much anymore?
Some Golden State Warriors tie-in, too. Sources tell me that Chris DeMarco, the Warriors' assistant coach, has reached agreement on a multi-year deal to become the new head coach of the WNBA's New York Liberty. He's been with the Warriors since 2012. 4 championship teams Chris DeMarco has been a part of. this season as a front-of-the-bench assistant. He's worked closely with Jordan Poole, Klay Thompson, other young players over the years. So Steve Kerr is losing a very valuable member of his coaching staff to the NBA, to the WNBA ranks. This now marks the third coach out of 5 WNBA hires that have NBA ties.
It's certainly a trend that we're seeing now with more NBA coaches jumping over into WNBA head coaching vacancies. Since this has to have a Warriors tie, as you mentioned, I want to bring back in our Anthony Slater, who covers Golden State for us. Anthony, what more background can you give us on how this is going to impact the Warriors? Because as Shams just said, this is a big departure for Golden State.
Yeah, Chris DeMarco will be on the bench tonight, and I would say in the near future, but him and the franchise, the Warriors, are figuring out when his departure will be, and it'll be at some point during this season. When they lose him, they're going to lose basically one of their defensive strategists. He's been the right-hand man for Mike Brown, Kenny Atkinson, and now Jerry Stackhouse, strategizing the defense. But it's not news that blindsided the Warriors. They were in some ways part of the hiring process. I know Sabrina Ionescu reached out to Steph Curry during this hiring process to get his thoughts on Chris DeMarco, and I saw the other day before the Miami game, Chris DeMarco sitting courtside next to Joe Lacob having a long conversation, which is interesting because Lacob's been his boss for more than a decade, and now in some ways turns into his rival because Joe Lacob runs the Valkyries.
That's very interesting, particularly the point that Steph Curry and Sabrina Ionescu had a conversation about Chris DeMarco, 2 of the best shooters in the game, and now Chris DeMarco leaving the Golden State Warriors for the New York Liberty head coaching job. Shams, thank you very much, and thank you, Slater. So let's stick in the W here, because the 2026 WNBA draft lottery, it is on Sunday, and the Wings, they hold the best chance to land the top pick in the draft for a second straight year. Now remember that the lottery system, it's based off of teams' record for the previous 2 seasons combined. 2 seasons. All right, got it? Okay, good. That means that the mock draft, when you look at this, here is how the top 5 picks look in the newest mock draft. And there is a new number 1 pick. So we see this, each mock draft player had UCLA's Lauren Betts as the top pick. But now we're seeing a little bit of an international flavor here at the top of the WNBA draft. And this latest shakeup to the mock draft is surely going to impact the teams in Sunday's draft lottery. So, Shanae, the Dallas Wings, they have the best chance at the number 1 pick again. If that does, in fact, happen, who are you looking at as the best fit here?
You know what's interesting? The number 1 pick, different than years past, the last 4 years, has not been locked up. There's some motion, as Stephen A would say. It's kind of fluid right now. A lot of people coming into this week thought it was going to be Lauren Betts, but I would like to introduce all of America to Awa Pham, who is a superstar, 19-year-old Spanish player out of Valencia, who is 6'4" and a mobile big. You're going to see how versatile she is, and this is the nature of the game, because if you look at the WNBA Finals, they were led by Alyssa Thomas and Asia Wilson, very dynamic mobile big. So if you're trying to pick someone to play alongside Paige Beckers, maybe it's not the back to the basket big, it's this big right here, Awa Pham, who is tremendous with her athleticism, a good finisher, soft touch, can extend the floor, has enough size. I think that's why we have more motion than we thought.
Yeah, now Awa Pham is at the top of our WNBA mock draft. But when we're looking at biggest storylines, I do think one of them is that maybe it's not locked in, the number 1 pick like we've seen in years past with Paige Beckers or Caitlin Clark being the surefire number 1 pick. Is there another big storyline that you're following with the stacked 2026 class?
Oprah, you get a superstar. You get a superstar. You get a superstar. I laughed when Perk said you combine the Atlantic and the Pacific. That's how deep that some teams are.
Yeah.
This is how deep this draft can be, because outside of Lauren Betts, who is a tremendous All-American, you've got stars like Tanaya Latson, who led the nation in scoring D1 last year. You have Flau'jae Johnson, who's probably the best isolation one-on-one wing. You've got Olivia Miles right there, who is like Chelsea Gray, beautiful passer, and of course, America's favorite, Azzi Fudd, who is probably the best, not probably, she actually is the best shooter in the draft. So you've got superstar power, you've got icons in the making, not just at number 1 or number 2, it's deep in this draft.
That's going to be really interesting to follow. I'm very excited to be with you this Sunday as we get to see how it's all going to shake out. The 25th annual WNBA Draft Lottery. It's at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific on ESPN and the all-new ESPN app. Rebecca Lobo is going to join us.
Congrats, Rebecca.
We're going to see if there's any surprises on the draft order.
She got paid, by the way. She got paid.
In case you missed it, the wildest finish of the night, right down the street. The USC Trojans hosted the Troy Trojans, triple overtime. And this is how it ended.
What?
The most miraculous 3-point game winners.
OMG.
With the
Jordan
left?
Marsh hits it at the buzzer and gives USC the win. Again, this is in triple overtime.
Oh, good thing they got young legs.
Yeah. That is a dog pile you deserve after playing that much.
That's so cool.
Here on